Chapter 4, Mishnah 4. Mishnah 1 began with 4 laws that apply when one person vows to donate the Erech value of another person, and it explained the first of the 4. This Mishnah explains the other 3 laws. It begins with the second of the 4 laws. When clarifying the age category that determines the amount of the vow, we look at the age of the vow subject, not the age of the vower. How so? A young man who vowed to give the Erech of an old man pays the Erech of an old man, and an old man who vowed to give the erech of a young man pays the erech of a young man. The third law mentioned in Mishnah 1. When clarifying the Arachin categories of male and female that determine the amount of the vow, we look at the gender of the vow subject, not the vower. How so? A man who vowed to give the erech of a woman pays the erech of a woman, and a woman who vows to give the erech of a man pays the erech of a man. The fourth law mentioned in Mishnah 1. And when determining the amount of the Erech vow, we look at the subject's age at the time of the Erech. That is, at the time the vow is made, not when it is paid. How so? A person vowed someone's Erech when the subject of the Erech vow was less than 5 years of age, and he became older than 5 before the vower paid his pledge. Or a person vowed someone's Erech when the subject of the Erech vow was less than 20 years of age, and he became older than 20 before the vower paid his pledge. The vower pays according to the subject's erech value at the time of the erech vow. The Torah prescribes erech values for 4 different age ranges. 1. 1 month to 5 years. 2. 5 years to 20 years. 3. 20 years to 60 years. And 4. Over 60. The Mishnah discusses whether a person who is at a transition point between 2 categories, i.e., the 30th day, the 50th year, the 20th year, the 30th day, the 5th year, the 20th year, and the 60th year is considered to be in the younger category or the older one. An infant on the 30th day of his life is judged as younger than 30 days with regard to Arachin. Similarly, a person during the 50th year and 20th year of his life is judged as younger than these ages. For it is stated in Vayikra chapter 27, verse 7, and if from 60 years of age and up, if for a male your erech shall be. This verse implies that the oldest group consists only of people who are older than 60 years. A person in his 60th year is judged as part of the younger category. And although the verse does not address the subject with regard to the other transitional times, i.e., the 30th day, the 5th year, and the 20th year, we can derive all the transitional times from the 60th year as follows. Just as a person in his 60th year is judged as younger than 60, so too when a person is in his 30th day, 5th year, and 20th year, he is judged as younger than those ages. The above explanation assumes that since the transitional year does not count for the over 60 category, as the Torah teaches with the words from 60 years of age and up, the same is true for the other 3 categories, even though the Torah does not discuss the transitional years for those categories. The Mishnah now questions that assumption. But is this argument correct? Although the Torah judged a person in his 60th year as younger than 60, that leads to stringency. For a person over 60 has a lower erech than a person over 60. Let's see this again. But is this argument correct? Although the Torah judged a person in his 60th year as younger than 60, that leads to stringency. For a person over 60 has a lower erech than a person over 60. There might be a mistake in the print here. For a person over 60 has a lower erech than a person over 60. Okay, we're just going to go on. Judging a person in his 60th year as part of the lower category will give him a higher erech value. Shall we judge a person in his 5th year or 20th year as younger than 5 or 20, where it will lead to a leniency? Regarding the other 3 categories, the older category has a higher erech than the lower one. Judging a person in his 5th or 20th year as part of the lower category will give him a lower erech value. How can we compare these categories to the over 60 category? The Torah therefore states the word years in connection with the 60th year, and the word years in connection with the 5th and 20th years, for the purpose of creating a Gezerah Shava as follows. Just as with respect to years mentioned in regard to the 60th year, a person in his 60th year is judged as younger than this age, so too regarding the years mentioned in regard to the 5th year and the 20th year, a person in his 5th year or 20th year is judged as younger than that age. From this Gezer Shava, we learn that a person during any of these years, the 5th, 20th, or 60th, is indeed considered as belonging to the younger age category, whether the result is to be lenient, as in the case of the 5th and 20th year, or to be stringent, as in the case of the 60th year. Another opinion. Rabbi Elazar says people in their 5th year, 20th year, and 60th year remain in the lower age categories even after their birthdays have passed, until they are older than those years by 1 month and a day. For example, a person remains in the 5 to 20 category until 1 month and 1 day pass after his 20th birthday.